All right, get the seat out, should be pretty easy. It's 4 bolts, 2 in the front, and 2 in the back. And you're gonna get seat belt here, the Torx bit, and then the electrical connector underneath. All right, got the extraction of the seat. Use my trash can, why not? So now I want to take the seat frame off. Not the seat frame, the rails. I want to take the seat rails off. So there's 4 nuts you got to take off. You got that one. You got that one. And then there's 2 down there in the bracket. The seat belt is, so we'll get those off next. All right, I got the slider off. It's the 8 bolts, 4 on each side, or nuts. Kind of a pain in the butt to access, but got it off. So next thing I'm gonna end up doing is these are the seat belt attachment points. So I'm just gonna cut this bracket right here, and this one right here. And that way I can use these brackets for my seatbelt attachments for the factory seatbelts. Okay, so for this is the seatbelt connector up here. So you want to take this bolt off, get that apart from this bracket, and then I'll cut the bracket. Also a good opportunity to clean this underneath the seat up. I'll vacuum it out and I guess wipe it down with some wipes. You know, got a little mud. All right, a little better, a little cleaner. Okay, got the seat. Here's the bracket came with the seat, and of course it's not going to line up with these studs. So my plan is I'm going to pull it back a little bit behind that first stud. I'm going to use this slot to go over that hole, or that stud. The back stud will line up the center, and then I'm gonna have to notch out some of the metal in between those 2 slots for that one to fit. I gotta notch out this piece sticking up here on the track, pull out that plug, and then I'll also put in my seatbelt brackets on top. And I think this is gonna work. Now in the Jeep, it's a little tight. With the seat, I tried to do a little test fit, and it's kind of on the inside of the slot, so make it to fit, but it's gonna work. I just have to do some additional work, and I think there's a bracket you can buy instead of using the existing seat slider. Probably makes this a little easier, but the cuts aren't too bad. But you know, I say that now before I start. Anyway, we'll see what happens. All right, finished cutting the brackets, so you can see where I cut it off here and here. And then here's my brackets. So I still got a little bit of a hump here that I'm gonna have to file down. You can see the other one, not as bad. That way the seat track sits flat. So that's my next step. All right, ground that down. So now it's flat. Love it. All right, next step, the seat brackets. I had to cut this slot out right here so that one of the studs would fit. Did that on both sides. That's on the rear side. So I got a stud that'll come through the back here, one that I'll have to put a washer over right here, and then I've got one in the front. So that's what we got to do. Next thing on the chopping block is I need to get rid of this tab right there, and that side too. So I'm gonna chop those off and just pull these plugs out. Should be good to go. Okay, cut that off, pulled that little plug, cut it off, bam. Everything should be flat now on that rail, which should match up nicely to these. All right, here's the brackets on here, kind of pre-fit. You see why I did this. So I got that stud there, and that one back there. I think I'm gonna trim a little bit more off that edge there, give a little clearance to that stud, but I will be using a large washer. Same thing on this side. Pretty good there, but we're hitting So I need to trim that. Okay, notch the Dremel. Much better. Stud's not gonna be a problem now. Other side too. Not hitting good. All right, I'm done cutting for the day, so I'm just gonna touch up paint. What I cut, let it dry overnight since I run out of time anyway today. All right, sprayed all my brackets with some paint, let it dry overnight. All right, next thing you wanna do is attach your seatbelt back to this bracket. You got the wire, and then place your bracket right there, and then you're gonna connect your wire here underneath. All right, now I'm staged, ready to install my 2 seat brackets. The forward washer, forward stud, I've got 2 washers on it, and I got my bracket for my seat belt on both sides there. So yeah, this stud and that stud has 2 washers. You kind of level it out, and you got the brackets. Okay, I got the bracket ready to secure the hardware. As you see, it's such a bit of washer here because I had cut out that notch. And I'm gonna push the bracket as far outboard as possible because it was a tight fit with the seat. Okay, I got both brackets installed, fully secure. Ready to try to sneak the seat in here and then attach it with the 4 Allen bolts it comes with. So, moment of truth. All right, so far so good. I got it squeezed in there, and you can set up your recline depending on how you have it. I'm gonna go with the second hole here and the bottom hole here. You see how that looks, and then I can adjust it. But it looks like it's going to fit. And then I've got these Allen bolts to secure it to the frame. All right, I got it on the bracket, but I do have one little snafu, and that is seatbelt is wedged here. There's not enough space. I'm gonna try to route it back here a little bit. There's more space there, but to do that, I'm gonna have to take the seat back out. It sucks. And then there's like a, I guess a travel pin that I need to adjust to, so on the seat belt. So I'm gonna take the damn thing out again. Sucks, but at least it fits. All right, so I'm just gonna notch out this center console. It's my Jeep. I can do what I want with it. I'm gonna cut it. All right, dremeled it out. Put my seatbelt in. I got a lot more clearance now. I'm thinking that'll work. We'll see. All right, notched it out. I'll put a patch over there when I'm done, but there should be enough clearance. It does stick out a little bit. It's pushed out. And that was also causing issues with the sliders. All right, victory. Got the seat in. Use the existing sliders. I still got my factory seat belt still, so I'm ready to put in my harness bar. And you know, I had to finagle this seat belt, but it's gonna work. Awesomeness.